Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we are going to be going through my week 5 NFL power rankings. Sorry that this is a day late. MLB playoffs started yesterday. Had to get that prediction video out before, and work has been busy for me the past few days as well. So hopefully today I can get two videos out for you. One is the power rankings for week 5 and the other is the week 5 NFL predictions. But let's go and get started with the power rankings. But before we do, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. My goal is to hit 150 subscribers by the end of the calendar year. So your subscription would mean a lot to me. So let's go ahead and get into the tiers where we have our normal ones. We have Super Bowl, Division, Wild Card, Meh, and Bad. So let's go ahead and get started with the Arizona Cardinals, who I'm going to put in Bad. They got absolutely boat raced by the Washington Commanders. It was, frankly, embarrassing. Kyler Murray, after having a strong start to his year in the first 2 weeks, didn't look that good in the past two. I mean, yeah, they lost, 42-14. The defense has been horrible. Offense, after keeping up with the Bills and beating the Rams in a blowout, have not done well at all. So they have been a very, very bad team after I thought they had some promise after the first 2 weeks. Next up is the Atlanta Falcons, who beat the New Orleans Saints to move on to 2-2. I mean, they're kind of just a wild card meh team right now. I mean, currently sitting at 2-2. They do have a win over the Saints. Why is there an ad? Sorry about that. And so, I mean, they took the Chiefs hard. They beat the Saints, and they're playing the Buccaneers this week. So they have a chance to establish themselves as a division contender. But right now, they're still in wild card. The offense still don't really trust 100%, so they're up there in wild card. Moving up quite a few tiers. Baltimore, moving up to division. Even though they're not winning their division per se, they completely dominated the Buffalo Bills. Like, the run game for the Ravens has been so key. Derrick Henry is dominating the NFL at 30 years old as a running back, and he has been insane. Sorry, my dog's in the back chewing on a bone, so I apologize for that. And yeah, Lamar doesn't even have to throw the ball. Just he runs, Derrick Henry runs, and that's all they really need. And the defense for the Ravens really stepped up against Josh Allen this week. And yeah, from that performance, they're up in division. And in dropping down to division is Buffalo. I mean, they're still 3-1. Their first 3 wins are really, really impressive. They got punched in the mouth. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, they are in the division tier. I still think this is a team that will contend at the end of the year, but not quite in Super Bowl tier yet. So right now in division. Bad, Panthers. Definitely looked a little bit more competent than they did when they had Bryce Young. I mean, they lost by 10 points to the Bengals. That's just a difference in talent. Andy Dalton should be the starter for going forward for them, as they did compete better, but they just have a lack of talent that prevents them from really competing with other teams. Moving up to the meh tier, Chicago. Impressive win against the Rams. I will say that is impressive. I thought the Rams would have done a lot more on offense against you guys, and Caleb Williams and that offense did just enough against, frankly, a bad Rams defense to get the win. So I still don't believe I'm fully in your upside this year, but still, really good when letting that defense really win that game for you. So good job, Chicago. Next up is the Bengals, who I'm moving up into meh as well. The reason why is because they got their first win of the year against the Panthers. And I do believe in this talent of this team more than I do in teams in the bad tier. So that's why they're up a tier after a win. Still very concerned about the Bengals. They could easily drop down to bad, but due to the talent, they're up in meh. Cleveland, bad. I'm putting you worse than Panthers because you lost to the team that gave the Panthers their only win. How do you do that? How are you this bad of a franchise? Bench Deshaun Watson. All I have to say, The Browns are terrible. Absolutely terrible. Next up, Dallas. In wildcard, currently sitting at 2-2. Really not a convincing win against the Giants. The Giants really hung in there at the end, all the way to the end. But the one thing I will say I am impressed by this week is their rush defense. After being gashed the past few weeks by Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry, they really clamped down on the Giants' rushing attack. So that is some cause for celebration there. They did get better. But offense looked very, very mediocre. Mediocre at best. So up there in wild card. Denver is now in meh. 2-2. Really impressive there for Denver. Sitting at 2-2. Let's see. Won a very sloppy, close game against the New York Jets. So Denver, still a very solid team. Detroit, they're moving up for me into Super Bowl contention. I watched that game against Seattle. That offense is legit. After having a weird week against the Buccaneers, where they made some mistakes, they came out and destroyed a 3-0 team at the time. And the two-headed monster of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs was deadly. Amon-Ra St. Brown did well, even threw a pass to Jared Goff as well for a touchdown. Yeah, this team is impressive. Only thing I am concerned about is the defense a little bit, especially in passing. But Ada Hutchinson has been really, really good. So, yeah, Super Bowl for Lions. Packers. Still staying in wild card tier, but definitely at the lower end of wild card. What separates them from the meh is the way they came back and the way the offense looked in the second half. If we just stopped at halftime, this team would be in the meh tier, 100%. But the way they came back against the Vikings defense and the way the Packers defense adjusted and clamped down against Minnesota, yeah, they're going to be fine, especially when they play the Rams and Cardinals the next 2 weeks. So Green Bay will be fine, but still in wildcard tier because this NFC North is going to be insane down the stretch. Houston, staying in division, mainly because they did struggle against the Jaguars. I would have liked to have seen them dominate them a little bit more, but still 3-1, totally in control of this division. They're probably going to run away with it. So Houston, very, very solid. The Colts picked up a win against the previous undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, sitting at 2-2. I'm going to put them in meh. I mean, Anthony Richardson has looked like garbage the entire year, and if it weren't for having Joe Flacco as their backup, this team would be 1-3. But instead, they're 2-2, playing some decent football. Jonathan Taylor has been running very, very well, so not bad, Indy, not bad. Jacksonville, they're the lone winless team in the NFL, currently sitting at 0-4, but this was the most competitive they have been since the Dolphins game, barely losing to the Houston Texans, but still pretty bad for Jacksonville sitting there at 0-4. No idea what they're even doing, so yeah, pretty bad. Kansas City, up here in Super Bowl tier. 4-0, but it is a very shaky 4-0 because they're letting teams that should not be close to them be very close. I mean, they almost lost to the Chargers, a 17-10 victory over the Chargers. They just lost Rashid Rice for the rest of the year with an ACL injury. But again, like I keep saying, as long as they have Mahomes and Reed, this team will always be in Super Bowl contention unless they prove it otherwise. But this team really should not be 4-0, and I would not be surprised if they struggle the next few weeks because they have looked very, very shaky here. But they're built for the playoffs, so this is what they always do. Chargers, kind of in the med tier. 2-2, they fought hard against Kansas City, but offense could not score enough points to get it done. Herbert looks all right. Dobbins looks okay. Overall, just a very meh team. Dropping down to bad is the LA Rams, because how the heck do you make the Chicago Bears offense look competent? Coming off their high against beating San Francisco, the defense lets them down again. Offense couldn't really do anything either. Overall, they're just a bad team, so down to bad. Raiders, moving up a tier to meh. I'm going to put them ahead of Cincinnati. I mean, they beat the Browns. They got the second win of the year. What's really carrying them right now is their victory over the Ravens. That's why they're not in the bad tier at 2-2. Still don't know how they won that game, but overall it's okay. Concerning news that Devontae Adams requested a trade away from the organization. That's something to keep an eye on for, but yeah, Raiders doing pretty all right. They're 2-2. Miami. Yeah, they look lifeless. They need Tua to come back because apparently no one on that offense can function without Tua. Not Achane, not Tyreek Hill, not Waddle. None of them can function. They started Tyler Huntley, and they got destroyed by Tennessee. That's how bad this team is. If it weren't for the Jacksonville Jaguars being 0-4, they would be my bottom team. That's what it is, how bad they are. So, yeah. Minnesota. Still in Super Bowl contention at 4-0 because that's 3 impressive wins in a row over the 49ers, Texans, and Packers. Although they looked a little bit more mortal against the Green Bay Packers, especially in the second half, you can kind of tell that the offense took their foot off the gas. They had more mistakes in the second half on both offense and defense, letting Green Bay get back in that game. That game should not have been that close. It was a 6-point game with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter before they got a field goal. So, yeah, that game should not have been close after that first half. So, a little bit of concern there for Minnesota, but overall, they're ranking pretty highly in my power rankings because this has been a very impressive start for them. But I think they can be legit, but there's still a little bit in the back of my mind that's like warning signs. So, but good job, Minnesota, doing solid. New England. I'm putting over Miami because they fought decently against San Francisco. I mean, they lost, what was it, 30-13. They at least look somewhat competent as a team instead of what Miami looks like, but yeah, not a good team at all. So down there in bad. New Orleans. Drop it down to meh. 2-2 after that really hot start where they scored 40 points in each game. They have definitely come back down to earth, as so has Derek Carr. They lost to the Falcons 26-24. That's kind of concerning, but New Orleans, they're an okay team. New York Giants. Bad. But it definitely more competitive this week against Dallas than they have been all year. So there's some fight in there. There's some talent there. Malik Neighbors is legitimately good. And Daniel Jones looked competent for the majority of that game, other than that interception he threw. So, yeah. Giants and bad. Jets. Wild card. 2-2. They looked absolutely awful against Denver, only scoring 9 points. I'm a little bit concerned about the Jets. It's only 4 weeks. I think they definitely will be better than they were last week. But this is another performance that's kind of concerning out of them offensively. So, Jets and wild card. Eagles. Who did you play? Oh, Tampa Bay. Yeah, they lost to Tampa Bay. Currently in wild card tier with Dallas. Yeah, they got absolutely curb stomped by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is something I was concerned about after looking kind of piss poor the past 2 weeks. And they got their crap kicked in by another good contending team. So, concerning there in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh. Wild card. They lost to Joe Flacco. That's all I got to say. Offense did look better this week, but the defense kind of took a step back. And if that defense is not on its A game, it is going to be very hard for this team to win football games with the way their offense is. But Justin Fields has looked pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. So, still going pretty solidly for Pittsburgh. Seattle. Another team I'm putting here in wildcard tier, but definitely higher up. Definitely was the lesser of the two teams against Detroit. They fought hard. Offense was able to get some stuff done, but the defense got absolutely smacked in the face by Detroit. They ran into a buzzsaw. But this is still a very solid team that will be contending for a playoff spot. So, yeah, Seattle is doing pretty good. Moving back up to division, San Francisco. They're currently 2-2. One against the New England Patriots. I mean, this team is one of the most talented teams in football, and they're getting guys back healthy. Debo came back. Looks like Jordan Mason's going to be the more long-term starter. Jawan Jennings is there. Ayuk is there. And Kittle's there healthy. With Purdy, with that defense, this team is going to be there for a long time. So, yeah, very good performance by San Fran. Moving up, I'm actually going to put them kind of as a dark horse. Nah, they're in division, but high division. Absolutely curb stomped the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, this is like their second like their 3 wins are very, very impressive because Washington, who we thought would have been bad, that win's looking a whole lot better for Tampa Bay. They beat Detroit and they beat Philadelphia. Those are 3 good teams right now in the NFC that Tampa Bay beat. And for Washington and against Philadelphia, demolished. The only weird thing they've done is lose to Denver, but Denver's looked better the past week as well. So Tampa Bay, if they continue this for another week, they might be able to get over the Super Bowl contender. Baker Mayfield has looked very, very good for them. So, good job, Tampa Bay. Moving up here, Tennessee. They did get a win against the Miami Dolphins, but they looked impressive doing it. Defense played well. Offense was able to gash Miami's defense with Mason Rudolph after Mailman went down with an injury. But, yeah, good job, Tennessee. Got your first win of the year, so good. And moving up to division, Washington. Where the heck did this come from? Demolished the Cardinals after beating the Bengals last week. Demolished the Cardinals. Jaden Daniels is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, especially if he keeps this up. He has been absolutely insane for them. And this offense, with the combination of Daniels being good in the air with that run game, they have looked very, very, very good as a football team, and they are definitely surprising people. I'm moving the Packers up a little bit. They're surprising a lot of people there, so good on you, Washington. So this is my power rankings for this week. We got in Super Bowl Kansas City, Minnesota, and Detroit. Division, I have Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Houston, San Francisco, Baltimore, Washington. Wildcard, I got Seattle, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Dallas, Green Bay, Philadelphia, and New York Jets. Meh, I have the Bears, Saints, Chargers, Broncos, Colts, Raiders, Bengals. And bad, I have the Rams, Cardinals, Giants, Panthers, Titans, Browns, Patriots, Dolphins, and Jaguars. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And I'll be back soon with my Week 5 NFL predictions. Keep an eye out for that. And depending on how well the Brewers do tonight, you might be seeing my player review series sooner than I would like. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace.